Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you both for being here. General Welsh, I particularly want to thank you for your visit to Hanscom Air Force Base. It was great to have your wife join you, too. It meant a great deal to our Commonwealth, to the communities around Hanscom that value so much its presence, as well as to the many very able and talented people serving at Hanscom. I've heard a lot of feedback from how grateful people were for you both taking the time to come and visit, and to also for us to be able to highlight the remarkable work that is being done there. And Secretary James, great to have you on board. I, like Congresswoman Bordallo, would love to invite you to come to Hanscom when your schedule allows for it. It'd be great to have you come see the great work being done there. But welcome. So as you both have noted, these are such challenging times marked by increasingly capable enemies in an era of very taut financial resources. And as the Department of Defense is adapting to these new realities, we in Congress, as you've heard today, have to scrutinize the changes that you're proposing, but we welcome your analysis, your very welcome analysis of the trade-offs you have made as you try to find a way forward. I'd like to focus on the need to make continued investments in research and development efforts in order to maintain our technological edge, given the very dynamic security environment that we live in. And coming from Massachusetts, it's something where we really take great pride in being part of that, because we see that it's precisely because of the investments that are being made in defense-related R&D that our service members are better protected, they have access to life-saving technology, and we as a country have peerless technological advantages on the battlefield. Many of these advances also serve as force multipliers in the field, and they can lead to significant cost savings. So in a world where we do have to modernize constantly, the Air Force has to be well positioned to build and sustain an environment that promotes innovation. It's a reality of our times. Such an environment will make sure that we're able to rapidly deliver the latest technological advances, and these in turn help to cut costs and protect our airmen and women. So while the Department of Defense and Congress have partnered to undertake extensive acquisition reform efforts over the past decades, I'm concerned that the unique type of rapid acquisition required to meet the needs of the Air Force's information technology, cyber missions, that these pose unique challenges to the Department of Defense's acquisition system. So what is the Air Force doing to address the specialized IT and cyber acquisition needs of the force? And what are the service's long-term plans to make sure that the Air Force is in a position to rapidly assess needs and field systems to meet the new requirements?
So I'll just begin with a philosophical comment. I totally agree with you that we have to focus on more rapidly delivering capability to the field. We did this during the urgency of the wartime environment, and I do not want to see us totally return to the ways of the past where all of our programs take a very deliberative and long-term period to get going. We have pockets of this within the Department of Defense. These pockets have to compete for the scarce resources along with everything else, but I want you to know I'm personally very interested in working on this issue and trying to get our S&T levels as a subset of that back up to where I think is more acceptable level.
And I think you note a very important issue. Given the time frame that some of this now requires, by the time you've gotten to a certain place, it's already obsolete. So it doesn't serve us as a country. General Welsh, I don't know if you want to comment.
Congresswoman, the Secretary has also started a new conversation with industry at the CEO Secretary level to look at issues like this and figure out how we can do a better job by talking to people who do a great job of it in private industry today. The IT world, as you know, in the military, we have not had great success in developing systems over time in this arena. We have a lot to learn, and she will have people now advising her quarterly on the best way to look at some of these challenges and maybe come up with a better approach than the ones we've taken in the past. We have a lot of people working it very hard. We just have not been successful, which means I believe we have to change the process. The people are good. The process we're using isn't working.
I would agree with that. I've seen some remarkably talented people who are really hamstrung by the process, and so I encourage you to continue, working very, very diligently on making sure we bring the needed reforms to the effort. Thank you both.
Thank you, Mr. Conaway. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, welcome, and General Wells.